Hola, buenos dias. Today we're going to be talking about our irregular preterite verbs. Irregular preterite verbs are a little bit wonky. They're going to take a little bit for us to kind of get used to seeing how they look because they don't look like our normal preterite verbs. We've learned a couple of them so far. We have learned decir and hacer, but let's look at the rest of them today. Okay, so in the preterite, the irregular verbs have a separate set of endings. So it's neither AR verb endings or IR verb endings. It's its own separate thing. So whether the verb is AR, ER, or IR, it's going to use this set of endings if it's regular or if it's irregular. Sorry. Okay. So all irregular preterite verbs, with the exceptions of ser and ir, which conjugate the same, and then dar and ver, which have the ER preterite endings but with no accents. So all the rest of them are going to use these endings. Okay. So that's why I said dar and ear, or dar and ver use ER, IR endings minus the accent marks. And when we're talking about irregular preterite verbs, there are no accent marks anywhere on them. Okay, so that's one nice thing. That's one less thing that we have to worry about. Okay, all of your irregular preterite verbs have a different stem than they do in the other tenses, and that's where this wonkiness comes in, because we have to memorize. One, we have to memorize a new set of endings, and two, we have to memorize a whole new stem, and we have to figure out which stem goes with which verb. So a few different things that we're going to be jumbling around in here. And so this is just a memorizing thing, and you have to memorize it, and there's not really any other explanation or any other way to do it. Okay, so our first one is andar, which means to walk, and the new stem is anduve. So this one's kind of similar. Some of them are going to look similar, some of them are not, okay? So andar, to walk, becomes estuve, and so, or anduve, sorry. And so anytime I say to walk in this chapter, I want you to use andar and not caminar. Tener becomes tuve. We know that one is to have. Estar becomes estuve, and then we're going to add new endings to these, okay? Then we have traducir, and it becomes traduj, and there's a star by that, and I'm going to get to what that means. There's three of them that have stars, and we're going to talk about what those mean. And traducir means to translate. Traer becomes traj with a J at the end, and again with a star, and that's to bring. And decir becomes dich, and then has the J and the star. All of these J ones are going to do something else, because they're like extra irregular, because being irregular is just not enough for these three. Okay? And decir, to say or to tell. Poner becomes pus, and that's to put or to set or to place. A lot of people get poner and poder mixed up in the preterite tense, so be aware of that. Saber becomes soup, and that's to know. In the preterite, saber means to find out. Querer becomes quis, and that's to want. Hacer becomes, the new stem is is, H-I-C, except for the usted el ella, then it's is with a Z, but we know that one already. It's to make or to do. Venir becomes vin, and that's to come. And poder becomes pud, and that's to be able to or can. So in the preterite, it's going to look like could. Okay? So just be aware that poner, pus, and poder, pud, tend to get mixed up. So be careful of those. Okay, so now let's look at these endings. So we have a, iste, o, imos, istes, and ieron. Okay, so we're going to take those new stems, anduve, so like andar, yo anduve, tú anduviste, usted, ella anduvó, nosotros anduvimos, vosotros anduvisteis, and ustedes, ellos, ellas anduvieron. Okay, remember how I said that there was going to be, I would explain the stars. So we're looking back, we have traducir, traer, and decir. With these, in the third person plural, so in that ustedes, ellos, ellas form, we're going to drop the I out of the ending. So it would just be dijeron rather than dijeron. It'd be tradujeron rather than tradujeron. Okay, it just gets awkward when we kind of have that jumble. So same thing with traer. Instead of trajeron, it would be trajeron. Okay, it sounds a little bit smoother. Okay, so eron ending, like I said, only for traducir, decir, and traer. Okay, so for example, so let's look at tener. Yo tuve, tú tuviste, usted, ella, tuvo, nosotros tuvimos, vosotros tuvisteis, ustedes, ellos, ellas tuvieron. Okay, and then here's that decir. Dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, dijisteis, and dijeron. So here we have that no I here, just dijeron. Okay, so new set of endings. There we go. All right, so let's do some practice. So, okay. So hit pause on the video and then go through and translate all of these, and then when you're done, hit play and check your answers. Okay, number 1, they said, ellos pusieron. Number 2, we watched, anduvimos. 3, she had, ella tuvo, you wanted, quisiste. We could not, no pudimos. I translated, traduje. She said, ella dijo. You brought, trajiste. Y'all in Spain came, vinisteis. Y'all were, estuvieron, or you could do estuvisteis. Okay? Okay, and now we're going to put them into sentences, so let's translate. So she walked through, which we're going to use for, downtown last week. So we'll do this one together. Ella anduvo, por el centro la semana pasada. She walked through the downtown last week. So in other words, we brought the checks to the bank in order to cash them. So trajimos, we're going to trajimos los cheques al banco para cobrarlos. Okay, number 3, we'll do one more. He wanted to fill up the tank with gas, but he couldn't find the service station. Él quiso llenar el tanque con gasolina, pero no pudo encontrar la estación de servicios. Okay. So this is kind of word for word. Let's see if I have more than that. Yep. Okay. Do the rest of them on your own. Hit pause on the video and then translate them and then hit play when you're done. All right. Number 4. I came to school very early yesterday. Vine a la escuela muy temprano ayer. Number 4. Why were you sad last night? ¿Por qué estuviste triste ayer anoche? That should have a question mark at the end, not an exclamation mark. The dentist told me that I need to buy a new toothbrush. So you're going to need a DOP here. So el dentista or la dentista me dijo que necesito comprar un cepillo de dientes nuevo. Okay. They found out the dentist's office closes at 5. Ellos supieron que el consultorio se cierra a las 5. So make sure you include your say because the dentist's office can't actually close anything. And so this is that passive. It does close. Okay, number 8. Oh, nope, that's all I have. Okay, we're going to be practicing with these irregular preterite verbs quite a bit. There is a Quizlet on Google Classroom that I will make sure I post along with these notes. So it is really good to memorize these or make flashcards or something to memorize these because you have to memorize the stem as well as the new endings. Okay, if you have questions, shoot me an email. Let me know. Have a great day. Adios.